My name is Jake from Talk Too Much, and today we're here to do a little bit of a recap with February. February had some brutal movies this month. Not that much of a pleasant month. Hopefully, we're looking at a quick turnaround this year, but yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I was really hoping a lot of these movies were going to end up being a lot higher on my list. I had sort of expectation with them, I guess you could say. We're going to be recapping all 11 movies that I did see in February. And there's 3 I wanted to go over. They're not going to be a part of this list, but I felt like it was kind of important to mention why they're not going to be on this list and why I didn't get a chance to go see them. Alright, starting up here, so you may notice that there's going to be an X next to each one of these movies. These are just 3 movies that I didn't get to for different reasons, so I'll go over them quickly. First one on this list is going to be the new Dracula movie. I'm not going to touch this with a 6-foot pole, especially everything surrounding the director. I don't feel comfortable talking or going to see this movie or giving this man my money. To go see his movie, especially knowing everything behind his character and just what he has done in the past, which, if you do not know, all you need to do is just a simple Wikipedia search, take a look at his good old biography, and you'll find some disturbing things on there that once I saw, I was like, all right, well, I'm not seeing this month. And I'm sure it's cool. I'm sure some people already went ahead and saw it, but to me, I just can't imagine looking at that and being comfortable sitting through it. So, no, I will not be doing Dracula. So, on to the next one. And that unfortunate next one is going to be The Strangers, Chapter 3. I haven't seen the first 2. And I kept waiting. I was like, maybe if there's a good one, maybe if someone walks out of the theater for the first one or the second one, I'll tag along. I'll keep watching. Never got that. So I was like, I'm not gonna throw my money at it. There's no point. That just feels like a waste of my time to do so. So eventually, at some point, I do plan on watching All the Strangers just because I've heard they're so bad that my curiosity has me a little bit like, okay, you're saying this is the worst horror trilogy that's ever been released. I need to know. I need to know why, but obviously I can't get my money first for that. So, yeah, didn't go see it. I've heard that it's the biggest letdown out of all 3 of them. So, without a doubt, I'm gonna miss it. Maybe I'll do a review later on. As of right now, though, I got no plans to go see this movie, and no excitement towards it. Next up on my list, and this was the only one I was actually disappointed that I couldn't find a single screening near me for, is This Is Not a Test. Now, this is a movie starring Olivia Holt, if I'm not mistaken, and it's, of course, a zombie apocalypse movie because, we haven't had enough of those already this year. Why not throw on another one? But, I was pretty sad because I couldn't find a single screening for this movie. No matter where I looked, the places were either like an hour away or at the most awkward times to go see it. So I have not been able to go see it. I will try to find a screening of it or at least get a hold of it somehow before the end of the year so I can throw it on the ranking for you guys. But yeah, this is the only one out of all 3 of them that I was actually pretty disappointed didn't get a catch screening for. So that's why it's coming in here. And now, kicking off my list, we're going from worst to best for this year. Starting with number 11, Whistle. Now, if you like Final Destination, stay away from this. This pretty much copies Final Destination, but with no explanation whatsoever. I thought the device was cool looking, but that was it. There's maybe like 1 or 2 okay kills. The rest of them all suck. It was a pretty big letdown. I didn't think it was going to be as bad, and then I watched it. I was like, no, this is way worse than I was hoping this was going to be. And then they have massive plot holes in the second half, and I was like, I can't fucking stand this. This is awful. Please, just get it over with. So yeah, I didn't last long through this movie. Went ahead and got it over with, and that's why it's sitting here at number 11. Number 10, my biggest disappointment of 2026 so far, unfortunately, has to go to Psycho Killer. Now, I was really looking forward to this movie when I saw the trailers. I was like, yes, you got me. I'm hooked. I'm set to see it in my seat. I want to watch it. And then the review came, and I was like, oh Lord, this thing is bombing in the office. I'm like, it can't be that bad. And unfortunately, it is that bad. And It's just there were some things about it that probably were callbacks and reminded me of some of the worst movies I've seen, which is not really a good thing. For example, they choose to use a red filter over the lens quite a bit in some scenes. All that reminded me of was Children of the Corn Part 6, which I absolutely hate that movie with a burning passion. So watching that, I was like, it was grinding my gears. I was like, I hate this. I hate the way this looks. This is so disappointing. And then it does every stereotypical satanic stuff just to kind of like meddle on with the story. And uh, it was just so disappointing. None of it was really good. The script wasn't even that good. It didn't hold up well. So I was like, okay, let's just get rid of an hour and a half of my time and then let's move on to the next one. So yeah, it'll probably go down as my biggest disappointment this year, but it's sitting here at number 10. Number 9 is going to be a brand new one that came out right at the very tail end of this February, and it's called Bring the Law. Now this is Scout Taylor Compton's movie. She directed it, and it also has Danielle Harris along with a few other names I just can't remember off the top of my head. And while I do think that the directing is great, it's just there's a lot of weak points with this movie. Specifically the action. It looked like sometimes they weren't even fully hitting each other, and it was kind of noticeable. But nonetheless, I do think the acting, everybody tries to bring their best effort. Danielle Harris does a great job in it. It was nice to see her in the role that she played. Um, and it was a nice little hour and a half kill, but this movie, it just lacked a lot for me. It didn't do anything to try and stand out or anything to make me go, yes, I want to see this again. Oh, I love that fight scene. I want to see it again. It just didn't really grab me like that. So I do think that she has a lot of potential. I definitely think she can go somewhere with her directing. I think it's one of those movies where, it's like their first or second movie and they're trying to like get their gears in and figure out what they want their style to be, and that's completely understandable. So that's also why it's above Psycho Killer and Whistle, is because at least with this one, I can tolerate it. I can watch it and actually stand it and understand what it's trying to go for, and I have a little bit of a different look on that compared to the other two. So check it out. I think it's on VOD already, or I think it was straight to VOD, but yeah, it's gonna be number 9 at Bring the Law. Number 8 is for you Saw fans, Saw 2, 3, and 4 out here. This is going to be the new Twisted movie. It also has Lauren, I believe, from Terrifier. And it's a pretty interesting concept. I really like the idea. It's about these two con artists who try to like flip in real estate to make money and scam people. And they of course scam the wrong person. It goes wrong. The person that they're trying to also scam ends up being a brain surgeon, and it ends up biting them in the ass. So I thought it was a very unique idea. I liked a lot of the gnarly effects to it. It had some of the greatest practical gore in the movie that I've seen in a while. The whole brain stuff was very, very tense whenever they were doing it. It has a great set of actors and actresses. I thought everybody brought their best performance. Where this movie falls weak for me, though, is the first act is so hard to support these characters. You just don't like them. I didn't like them, at least, at all in the beginning of this. I was like, I can't get behind you. I think you guys are horrible human beings. There's just nothing that you are doing that's really getting my attention to where I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, unfortunately, and the middle was really good, but then it also kind of fell off at the end with the reveals and everything that was happening, the whole idea of what this movie was about. And so, whereas I do respect it more than I like it, it just didn't really have anything. And there were some things that just kind of scratched me the wrong way that I didn't like. All right, number 7, we're going to another controversial one, and that's going to be Wuthering Heights. I hope I pronounced that correct. This is a new one with Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, and the whole premise of this movie is let's get two very attractive people that have traumatic passes and try and show everyone that they're not as toxic as they look and that they like each other. This movie looks amazing. The way it looks is amazing. Let me just clarify that. I think the acting is phenomenal. I feel like you can kind of actually get a sense as to what the relationship is like between Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, which I really appreciated. I think they did bring their A game to this. I don't think they kind of looked at this as one big joke. There were some scenes in it that had me scratching my head, like, why is this going on? Um, but you kind of get to the end and you're just like, oh, that's the ending? Okay. All right. And I'm not someone who read the book. I can't read, as my wife likes to joke. But I didn't read the book, but I didn't hear everyone that read the book was extremely disappointing with this movie. I didn't think it was the worst thing in the world, though. That's the thing. I felt like it. Everybody's giving it 1, 2 stars. I really didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was at least tolerable. Again, that's a word I would use for it. It's not something I'm going to go out of my way to rewatch, but definitely a movie. I feel like it's gotten a lot more hate than it deserves. I feel like a lot of people should give it more credit for where it's worth. So it's sitting here at me for number 7. Also, a little fun fact, if you guys didn't know, the director, she's also in the Barbie movie with Margot Robbie, playing as one of the Barbies. So I don't know if I'll be able to pull up a picture of that, but I thought I'd let you guys know that, because that was a fun little fact I learned in the movie theaters recently. Alright, number 6, and we're still not scratching the surfaces of movies that are going to probably be in my top 20, top 25, and not ones that I plan on rewatching, but still going to keep going through. So number 6 for me is going to be Crime 101. Now this is an interesting one, because it's about Chris Hansen, who plays as an awkward criminal, which sounds kind of interesting, because Chris Hemsworth would be the last person I would pick as, not just a robber, but as an awkward human being to play a robber. So this one had a lot of cool twists and turns in it. Definitely starts to get towards its runtime, and you're just kind of like, all right, I'm good. We could have cut this about 20, 30 minutes ago. It is a bit of a slow burn, so keep in mind going with that. But I like the action. I thought it was really cool. I liked some of the ideas that they pulled for this. How Chris Hemsworth is, yes, he's a robber, but he's not violent. And he tries to make that a clear point where he's trying to do all these robberies without anyone getting harmed, which I thought that was kind of cool. I thought it was a different take. This is probably one of the very few performances where I actually could stand Mark Ruffalo. I'm not the biggest fan of the guy. I thought his mustache was pretty cool, but once he shaved it off, I was like, oh, you're unfortunately yourself again. Great. And of course he plays himself pretty well. So not the biggest fan of the Ruffalos here, but definitely it's worth something here. It's worth a little bit of time. It's a good Sunday dad movie if you just have a couple hours to kill. But keep in mind you're gonna have to have a couple hours to kill. So it's sitting here for me at number 6. All right, and number 5 here for me, we're going to go with Cold Storage. This is the new movie with Joe Keery, as well as Liam Neeson, and a few other actors in here. This is about a storage unit that pretty much gets taken over by an infection. And Liam Neeson, who is retired, comes back from the military after discovering this infection that's been hiding in the storage unit for 18 years. It gets out, and he goes to try and stop it. And it had a lot of cool ideas going for it. I think it's a little too campy. You don't really see this infection kind of spreading as far as you would like it to go. I mean, like, really, it kills maybe less than 10 people. It's not a high body count, but I think the idea was really cool. The way they used the infection between animals and spreading was cool, where if the whole design of the infection is that it goes into a room, explodes, gets on people, and that's how it spreads. Really cool idea. The explosions were really cool. I thought all the colors used, like the neon green from what you would say the infection is, that was a really nice touch to it. I felt like everybody brought their good performances out. The main issue, though, at the very end of it is I'm like, yeah, this is a B movie. This is a solid 3 out of 5. It just doesn't do anything much to stand out in the genre. Doesn't do anything where you're like, oh, I want to watch this again. This is like one of the best zombie movies out there, or one of the best infection movies out there. It's just kind of there. So I don't really expect a lot of people to probably talk about this movie until we get to our year-end list. But I thought it is at least a fun time. You go in what you expect. So keep that in mind, and it's going to be sitting here at number 5 for me. All right, number 4 for me. Now, this is where we get to the movies that I would at least think about rewatching them more likely than I would not. So we're at least heading towards a positive direction. Not going to probably pull these right off the shelf immediately. But at number 4, we're sitting here with Solo Mio. This is a new movie with Kevin James in it, who plays as a guy that gets left at the altar and decides to still go on his honeymoon, even though he's by himself. And what I will say is it's nice to see Kevin James in a movie like this. I think he plays the role amazing. He has so much charming with all the characters, with all the actors and actresses, and the way the story kept going. I watched this with my wife, and I had such a great time with this. It was so enjoyable. Very much is underappreciated. I felt like this should have been the Valentine's Day movie that we were promoting this month. This was it. I got a lot of good chuckles out of it. I thought it was very sweet. The story made sense. It's not something to where it's like completely left field for you. The main thing is the characters just don't have a lot to them. They have some funny lines and they have some great scripts to go with them, but the characters themselves just don't really have a lot to where you're 100% invested in, maybe other than Kevin James, because he's the one that you want to see win at the end of this movie. But other than the characters just suffering a little bit, the story runtime is great. It needed to be where it went. I would also go as far as to say the nice little twist at the end, that was kind of a shock for me, was a definite great nice touch. So keep this one under your radar. Definitely go check it out. Like, it's definitely one of the better Valentine's Day movies. So and even some of the guys I could see getting a little bit of enjoyment out of this. So Solo Mio coming in at number 4. Number 3, it's going to be Scream 7. Now, I didn't get a lot of enjoyment out of this movie, and maybe it might be my theater experience that has a little bit of bias towards it, but I thought that this movie was very fun, and it gave me what I wanted. It gave me an entertaining Scream movie, and I can't complain about that. I was entertained. I didn't see the ghost faces coming. I thought the kills were amazing. I love Sidney Prescott coming back. I definitely think there's a lot of ways that the story can go. But as someone who is a Scream fan, it gave me what I wanted. It gave me, for a 7th installment in the franchise, it still holds up as not being one of the worst. So I definitely will probably watch this one again, maybe change my ranking. It may go higher, it may go lower, but I still got a lot of enjoyment out of this. I can understand everybody's critiques, but also looking around, I've noticed that this movie is splattered across everyone's franchise rankings in different ways. Some say it's worse, some say it's at least in the middle, which I'm happy to see at least that a lot of people are still saying it's not the worst and not just me. So a little bit of bias towards it, but sitting here at number 3, it's going to be Scream 7. All right, sitting here with my top 2, we're going to go number 2, and that's going to be How to Make a Killing with Glenn Powell. This movie was such a joyride. I am so shocked so many people missed this. I had so much fun with it. It is a nice dark comedy with a lot of good twists and turns here and there. Some that I wasn't expecting, some I was expecting. I thought the story, the way everything was playing out was great. The love interest of Glenn Powell in the beginning, it was a nice relationship and showing that you don't have to have all this money in the world to make someone happy. You can just be happy and just live a little comfortably and just not take a chance. But overall, it was a great movie. I had so much fun with this. And this is a movie that I actually did not dislike Margaret Qualley. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not a big fan of The Substance. I hated her movie, Honey Don't. So I was really hoping, I was like, please let this be the performance that I can get behind. And by the end of it, I actually got behind it. So definitely check this one out. So many people skipped this movie, and I can easily see a lot of people going into summertime in August and pulling this up being like, wait, this came out this year. This was phenomenal. And I'm just gonna stand there and be like, I know everybody just completely skipped it. So I had a great time with this one. If you want a funny, good A24 dark comedy, you can't go wrong with How to Make a Killing. But my number one, and the movie I was very, very hyped to see, was Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Now, this movie, I heard Chuck, Cody Leach, they were talking about it nonstop after Fantastic Fest, saying you just need to go into it completely blind. Don't look at any of the trailers. Just watch it. It finds a way to make jokes out of serious situations. I think one of them was a school shooting that they kept referencing. So I went into this movie completely blind. I drove an hour out of my way to make sure I was going to go see this movie here because just of how much it was hyped for me, and it delivered. I thought it was funny, it was so clever, and it was not a cheesy movie where we see AI taking everything over again. This actually delivered. I thought the style was phenomenal. I thought Sam Rockwell, what bits and pieces of it we get, are great with it. I like how there's a little bit of storytelling influence. It reminded me of Weapons, and a little bit of Barbarian, the way it would change the stories over to give a little history over each character. So you're realizing, yeah, they kind of all are randomly together, but in some way, AI has affected their lives, made them make this decision to join them. So I had such a blast with this. This is a movie that I can see being in my top 10, my top 20 easily. I mean, probably top 20 if we have a killer rest of the year, which fingers crossed we do. But even still, I can see this staying in my top 10 at least. It was such a great film, such a fun time. Maybe the only thing that holds me back a little bit from saying it's my favorite movie of the year so far is the last 10 minutes. But the more I kept thinking about it, the more I kept seeing how this was rolling out, all it made me do was think about the movie after, which is kind of what the goal is. It's like, let's have a conversation over this subject, but we're going to deliver you something that's not cheesy or makes you cringe or makes you roll your eyes like, oh, here we go again. It delivers great. I thought all the acting was phenomenal. The story was great. There's not a single thing other than maybe the last 10 minutes I could tweak apart about this movie, but I will probably try to rewatch this before the end of the year again. Definitely, I think this one got its theaters expanded by like over 1,000 in the second week. That's how big it blew up, which I was so happy for. So as of right now, it's my favorite movie of February. Probably going to be in my top 10. Keep an eye out for it when it goes on streaming and as well as DVD. Pick up a copy of it. Let's very much support it. I'm all on board for it. And so I hope at least this is our only bad month. Because it gets kind of tiring when you see 8 movies in a row that you're just like, okay, can I get something that makes me want to rewatch this again? And fortunately enough, my top 3, I would even say my 4th pick, kind of made me feel that way. But let's hope for a good March. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.